Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest hurdles in learning any language, especially Chinese, making vocabulary actually stick. We're going to break down a really powerful, systematic approach from Dr. Izzy Sealey. It's designed to help you not just learn, but actually retain Chinese words for good. So let's dive right in.
Have you ever felt this? I mean, it's so familiar, right? You put in the hours, you're grinding with flashcards, you feel like you've got it, and then, poof, it's just gone. That feeling like your brain is a sieve and the words just evaporated. It is so frustrating, but trust me, you are not alone in this.
So, yeah, that is the big question, isn't it? This is the thing that really separates people who make steady progress from those who just feel like they're running in place. And the best part? There's a real answer. There's a system for it.
Look, the answer here isn't some new app or a weird memory trick. What you really need is a solid, reliable system, something that covers all the bases, from picking the right words in the first place to burning them into your memory and then, crucially, actually using them.
And that brings us to the heart of it all, this three-pillar system. I want you to think of it like a tripod. You know, a tripod is only stable if it has all three legs. Take one away, and the whole thing falls over. Your vocabulary learning is exactly the same. You need to prioritize, then memorize, and then mobilize. Each one is absolutely essential.
So let's get into that first leg of the tripod, prioritize. This is all about being smart before you even start memorizing. It's about asking yourself, okay, of the thousands of words out there, which one should I actually spend my time on?
And this might seem super obvious, but it's a game changer when you really think about it. Not all words are created equal. You're going to use a word like the constantly, but how often are you going to need the word windmill? Probably not that much, right? The same exact principle applies to Chinese. Being strategic here is your first huge win.
So how do you get strategic? Well, the key tool is something called a vocabulary frequency list. It's pretty much what it sounds like, a list that ranks words from the most common to the least common. This little tool lets you focus all your energy where it's going to have the biggest possible impact.
And just look at how powerful that focus can be. Get this, you only need about 1,000 of the right words to build a solid foundation for basic conversations. Just 1,000. That's an amazing return on your investment of time and energy.
This is basically the famous 80-20 rule applied to language. That small group of high-frequency words, that's your 20% of effort. It gives you a whopping 80% of your ability to get by in daily chats. So prioritizing isn't just a smart idea, it's a massive shortcut.
All right, so we figured out what to learn. That's pillar one. Now let's move on to pillar two, memorize. This is all about how to take those high-value words and make them stick around in your brain for the long haul.
And here's the thing, just drilling with flashcards over and over again, it's not going to cut it. For a word to really truly stick, it needs connections. It needs context. You're trying to build a rich mental map where every new word is linked to other ideas you already know.
One of the absolute best ways to build this map in Chinese is to break words down. So, take the word for telephone, dian hua. It's made of two characters, dian, which means electric, and hua, which means speech. So, electric speech. All of a sudden, the word isn't just some random sound. It has logic. It makes sense.
And once you start doing this, you'll see these patterns popping up everywhere. So check out the word for computer, 电脑. Hey, there's that character dian again for electric, but this time it's with 脑 for brain, electric brain. You see, by learning the building blocks, you're not just memorizing one word at a time, you're starting to understand the whole system.
The other huge piece of this is finding these words out in the wild. We call this comprehensible input. Basically, you're consuming content that you can mostly understand. So you could use graded reader apps like the Chairman's Bow, listen to podcasts like Chinese Pod, or even watch TV shows with a tool like Language Reactor. This lets you see the words in their natural habitat, and that is so critical for building that mental map.
Okay, so you've picked the right words, you're starting to build a deep memory of them. Now it's time for pillar three. And this, my friends, is where the magic really happens. It's called Mobilize. This is how you turn that passive knowledge into an active, usable skill.
This is a massive mindset shift. You have to ask yourself this question. The goal is not to be a walking dictionary who can just list a bunch of words. The goal is to be a communicator, to be someone who can actually use those words to express yourself. It's a huge difference.
So how do you actually do that? Let's get really practical here. I'm going to give you 3 simple things you can start doing like today to mobilize your vocabulary. These are real, daily habits, not just abstract ideas.
Okay, first up, the 5-sentence rule. It's simple.
Every time you learn a new word, you have to force your brain to create 5 totally different sentences using it. This is like mental gymnastics for your language skills. It trains your brain to be flexible and moves that word from your, "Oh, I think I've seen that before" bucket to your, "Yeah, I can use this" bucket.
Here's another really easy one. Just start narrating your day, but swap in the Chinese words you know. Even if you're just thinking to yourself, I want to eat miantiao instead of noodles. It's a low-pressure way to get in the habit of actually pulling that word out of your brain and putting it to work.
But probably the most powerful tool of all is a language buddy. And this little workflow shows you exactly why. I mean, just look at this beautiful feedback loop. It starts with you. You actively use your new words in a text. Then your buddy corrects it and sends you back an audio recording. Then it's back to you. You listen, you repeat, you hear the right pronunciation. It is a perfect cycle of using, getting corrected, and reinforcing. All right, let's tie all this together. The big takeaway here is really a shift in how you think about learning. You've got to stop being a passive word collector and start training to be an active, confident communicator. It's not about how many words you know, it's about how well you can use them. So here's your system, plain and simple. It's these 3 pillars, working together. First, you prioritize. You go after the most common words to get the fastest results. Second, you memorize. You build deep connections through context and deconstruction. And third, you mobilize. You use those new words every single day, no excuses.
And that's really the whole point, isn't it? At the end of the day, we're learning a language to connect with other human beings, to share our ideas, to understand another culture. The number of words in your head is just a number. Your ability to truly communicate, well, that's the real prize.
So there you have it. By following these 3 pillars, prioritize, memorize, and mobilize, you're not just hoping you'll get better, you have a stable, repeatable system for success. It takes the guesswork out of it and gives you a clear path. So the only question left is, now that you have this system, what are you going to say first?